I agree. All right, let's get into our quick fire. All right, it's time for quickfire. Our hosts have some topics they want to share, but we only have 3 minutes to discuss and 1 minute to hear from you. So type in your comments fast. Any topics where our host won't shut up, we have the dreaded mute button, and they can save their
Y'all ain't
comments
fun.
for our
Y'all
after
ain't
show.
muting me. Y'all ain't muting me. Whatever. Whatever.
All right, let's do it. Lizzie, you're up first.
I am. I thought I was up last. Okay. We are talking about. We are talking about Jay-Z. Neo had me. That phrase is in my head now, Neo. When we
Jazzy.
were in the pre-show, Jazzy, but also like fuck Jay-Z.
Rock Jay-Z.
But we're talking about Jay-Z and a few of his fellow rappers who are challenging some of the laws in New York City as it relates to freedom of artistic expression, if you will. So they want to, strike down the law in which the local or the state government, in New York City can use their lyrics against them. Can use, let's say, for example, if Jay-Z and I don't think he has any lyrics about killing people, but let's say, for example, rappers who tend to talk about,
Hmm.
their criminal activities in their lyrics, whether it be selling drugs, whether it be stealing, or, excuse me, assaulting people, shooting
Murder.
people, killing people.
Yeah.
So they want to ban the opportunity from, the legal system to use those lyrics against them,
Hmm.
to bring charges against them, to use those lyrics as evidence in possible cases, in future cases. So my question to my panel is, what do you think about this? Are you for or against this? Do you think this is a fair bill, a fair law that they're trying to, change, trying to shift?
Let's start with Gianni Storm.
Do I think it's fair? No. Do I think it's smart? Yes, because a lot of people do have their confessions. They lay the whole story out in detail in some of their verses. But I was a little biased because as we were kind of getting into this, I looked up if this was an issue, like were there a lot of rappers that were really kind of being affected by this? And actually there are. Even though they're not like mainstream rappers, there are a lot of like local rappers that or kind of take advantage of. But it's not fair to me. I'm just gonna say that. I don't think it's fair. I think it's freedom of expression, and I do think you should separate the art from the individual.
All right.
That's
Real quick, I'll just say, I think a lot of people do confess some things in their lyrics. And if it is found that there's some corroborating evidence, I think they should be considered. Although I understand that some people may be referring to other people's crimes or it may be exaggerated. Eh,
Yeah.
you know, I get that. So I get their point of view, but I think they should be. Anyway, I'll let you go, Rob.
So when I'm glad that Liz put this out there because when I first looked at it, I had to really admit a cultural bias because I don't identify with a lot of lyrical content in rap because, well,
yeah.
it's just not around me. But it's interesting to me that rap and metal get drawn into these types of characterizations. I don't know if you remember in '85, the PMRC, the Parents Music Resource Center. This is why we have parental advisories on albums now, but it reminded me of the witch hunt
Oh,
that was led
wow.
against metal back in the day because they testified that it filled youthful ears with pornography and violence and it glorified behaviors from suicide, drugs, occult, that kind of shit. The issue that I have with lyrical content is if you identify an antagonist by name in a precarious, dangerous, murderous situation, like if someone's saying about me being in their trunk while they're packing heat and something happens to me, fuck, look into that. Please look into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, I guess that's the only place where I kind of draw
We
the
gotta
lines
move
when
on
you
to
start
Lizzie.
identifying particular harm.
We can pick it up later. So,
So like
Lizzie,
specific.
My issue, one, I think it's bullshit. Um, why is that wonking on me?
no, it
I
wasn't
think
you.
it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit, and I think it's misguided, especially from this group of rap artists. The majority of rap artists that are trying to get this movement going are former criminals, if you will. But my thing is that where do we draw the line between art and someone being a dumbass and confessing their crime?
It's a
Like,
tough
what's the
line.
difference between,
It is.
Jay-Z potentially talking about XYZ crime in his song versus me texting somebody about it?
Yeah, it's a tough line to draw.
Like, where's the
Yeah.
difference?
All right.
So, no, I'm not for this. I think it's bullshit.
All right. Is this truth,
Oh.
lies,
I mean, I already
or
said it. Y'all know what I'm going to say. Y'all know what I'm going to say.
shenanigans?
I don't have my.
Shenanigans. I think that we could just.
I'm
I
going to
don't
say
know.
it for you, Gianni. Bullshit.
Yeah, I
This is
choose.
for Gianni.
Okay,
So what is
thank
it?
you.
Wait, I
There's some
can't hear you.
truth
Well,
and
just say it,
shenanigans in
Gianni.
there for me.
Say
Okay,
it
I
for our
think that
podcasters so they can hear you.
I think that it is truth and shenanigans to it because I do think
That's my
that
girl.
I'm on their
I
side.
got
I'm
I
on
got
their
your
side.
signs,
And
girl. I got
shenanigans.
your signs.
Okay.
Shenanigans. This is going to give them an out to confess shit and then be able to get out of jail for it. All right.
But it's
All
art.
right, we'll talk about it later. All right, Rob B. Rob B, you are up next.
All right. So this week, 57-year-old Hana Horka, probably a name you're not familiar with, but she is a very popular anti-vax folk singer from the Czech Republic. And she could no longer perform with her band Asonance, which is the oldest folk band in the Czech Republic. The band was founded in 1976, and Hana was a member from 1985. The band is still up and running. They've got 14 albums out. Now, her beef was that there were new vaccination requirements or proof of recovery from COVID-19 required to enter concert halls and performance venues, so she was no longer able to perform. When her husband and son, who are vaxxed, caught the virus, she decided that it was a great opportunity to get a health pass without having to get her jab, so she could prove recovery. She became infected and seemed to be recovering when she posted on social media, "I survived. It was intense. So now there will be theater, sauna, a concert, and an urgent trip to the sea." Then on Sunday morning, she passed away after choking to death. Now, her 24-year-old son, Jan Rek, shared that it was heartbreaking that she chose to listen to strangers on social media rather than her own family who loves her. So I want your thoughts on how dangerous anti-science beliefs really have become. And also, if you could share one anti-vaxxer's method of fighting COVID that you've heard of that can actually cause us harm.
All right, Robbie left us a minute and 30. Go ahead, Gianni.
When Trump said that you should drink bleach, or somebody said that they should drink like hydrochloroquine or bleach, and that helped. That was ridiculous. But to answer your question, my view on anti-science, I don't have a problem with people questioning anti-science, homeopathic, whatever it's called. I don't have a problem with people questioning that. You have to have your own mind in this world. But I do have a problem with them replacing science methods with like unproven theories or like things that are just like
You mean nonsense? Are we
deliberately
calling it
wrong.
nonsense? Okay, nonsense.
Yeah.
No, you call it for what it is. Bullshit? You mean bullshit?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, all right. So,
Yeah.
real quick, so I'll point out Meatloaf, Herman Cain. There's so many anti-vaxxers
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf died from COVID. And he was an
No, that-
anti-vaxxer just like the rest of them.
And,
So
and Meatloaf said, "If I die, I die."
yeah, so
You did.
that's what happened. So I think these people are idiots. They're idiots. I'm leaving 20 seconds for Lizzie. Go ahead.
I just don't understand it. I just don't understand, especially when you're a mother, you're a wife, so you're not just swinging it solo like me. You have other people that depend on you, that love you, and people who are anti-vaxxers. It's not like they're totally removing themselves from everything medical, right? They're taking a whole lot of other shit throughout their lives. They drink, they smoke weed, they, inject themselves with all these other things. But when it comes to this one particular vaccine, it's like, oh, I don't trust medicine. Whatever. Get out of my face.
Nonsense. All right, we got a bunch of comments online. I'll catch the other comments in a bit. Mike Winter, so dumb. I feel no sympathy whatsoever for these anti-vaxxers. I'm so sick of my glasses fogging up because of my wearing my mask. Get the damn shot, you whiny ass babies. All right, Latoya Blakely, this is one of those people that both saddens and pisses me off, shaking my fucking head.
Sad.
I will always be sad about people dying from this terrible virus, but simultaneously pissed the fuck off that they intentionally put themselves in harm's way to be taken away from the people who love them most.
They make it hard to be compassionate and sad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to champion someone dying because they didn't get the vaccine, but they do make it hard for me to feel bad for them.
Yep. Jose says, I cannot, same as you, I cannot feel bad for their choices. Think of the others. And she also says, preach, Lizzie. Jacqueline Robinson, I've said it before and I will reiterate it. I am out of F's to give for people who knowingly put themselves and others in harm's way. Totally agreeing with that. So what are we calling this?
Oh, I feel bad that she died. So.
Everything is bullshit for Lizzie, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with you guys. It's all
Shenanigans for me.
Do you know how many rapid tests
nonsense.
I've taken over the past
I've taken a
week?
bunch. Me too.
Yeah, it's because, and I don't go out anywhere, but I go to CVS.
I go out.
And the one person in CVS who doesn't have a mask on, I come back home like, okay, I have it. Or the one time last week when I forgot to put my mask on and came back home in literal tears, I took rapid tests for 2 days straight because I'm like, I got it. And so then you have these other people who are unvaxxed, shamelessly unvaxxed, running around. It's like, you don't understand the stress that is put on the rest of us.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I told you guys a story about a guy who had. I go play volleyball. There's a guy who was coughing next to me, and he pulled his mask down. Come to find out, he caught COVID. It's always those assholes that catch COVID. So, anyway, all right. So that's it. Let's go over. I do want to go over the comments from our previous segment topic. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just looking for them. So, ma'am, Lizzie, as usual, reading my mind. If you kill someone and are dumb enough to put the details about the murder into the song to incriminate yourself, go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Hello. I may have committed a crime in my life. I may have slept with your man, but I'm not writing about it. Like, come on. Come on.
Jacqueline Robbins says, there's no statute of limitations on murder. If you are big, bad, and bold enough to confess to a crime, you should suffer the consequences. Mike Winter, that was an SVU episode last week where this Bama admitted to murdering someone. Admission is absolutely admissible as evidence.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right. So